This presentation is how to turn your website into your best salesperson. I have managed over 3,000 internet marketing campaigns, and if you include my staff, then we've managed over 4,000 internet marketing campaigns. This presentation is based on our experience. I believe less in opinion and emotion and more on numbers. I believe that numbers trump opinion. Does anyone in here disagree with me on that? Okay, because I'll pull out some numbers to trump your opinion. We can do that easy. And so all of this stuff is based on numeric intel. It's also based on experience and studies that we have read. So if you follow us on LinkedIn, this is our LinkedIn profile. If you follow us, you'll be entered to win a free consultation. If you do not want a free consultation, just don't follow me, no problem. Are we ready yet? Perfect, I'm ready too. So this is the agenda. First part of the agenda is making your website sell better. And we're going to talk about how to get close with Google. Google and I are so close, we finish each other's sentences. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. You got to get close with Google if you want to get ranked on Google. And that means doing what Google wants. And that's what we do. I can't call myself the wizard of Google if I don't know what Google wants, because inevitably someone's going to ask me. We're going to talk about the 5 steps of the sale. There are a lot of different sales processes. We are going to talk about basic concepts. We're also going to talk about the 3 C's and how the 3 C's affect your website. Next, we're going to talk about engaging visitors. I don't know what that cat is looking at, but something got his attention, or her. Maybe it's another dog, maybe it's another cat. I love that picture. So we're going to talk about engaging your visitors. We're also going to talk about website structure. Anyone in here using a website that's not WordPress, by show of hands? Not WordPress? Okay, well, that's fine. Most of you are then using WordPress or chose not to answer. So, there you go, that a girl. WordPress is Google approved. There's other Google approved formats, but if you use a different Google approved format, you also have to know coding. Let me restate that. It is a requirement that you understand coding if you use a different format. You don't have to know coding if you use WordPress. WordPress is dumbed down so much. Now, it helps if you do know coding, but you don't have to. Everything in WordPress can be done by widgets, drag and drop, super easy, super user-friendly. This is what we're certified in. Google's gone on record as saying they like it, and what we're trying to do is get close with. Hey, all right. Next thing, this is my favorite part of this whole discussion, is the colors and the fonts, pictures and stuff like that. I like the psychology behind how do we make people click on that button? The orange made them click on the button, not the blue. And I really like that whole testing aspect. So this is the end of the agenda. Now let's get started. Again, we're going to talk about Google liking your site. How do you make Google like your site? The first thing is putting it in a secure protocol. Does anyone know that this is a trick question? Who knows what HTTP stands for? Programmers, fellow geeks, come on. There you go, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It was written back in the 70s whenever the internet was first getting started. A hypertext transfer protocol, everybody knows this, HTTP : www.your website. The hypertext protocol is not secure, HTTP. Earlier this year in February, Google said, if you are using HTTP, we are going to start penalizing you. And like they always do, they make an announcement and then months later, they put out the result. In September, actually in October, they finally decided that if you are using HTTP, you are being penalized. You are no longer on the same level as someone who's using HTTPS, which is the secure protocol. Anyone in here feel really secure when you're using HTTPS? You shouldn't. HTTPS was, remember I'm a programmer, HTTPS was written with inherent vulnerabilities. Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, they all know this. And so what they have started working on, rather than patching HTTPS, they've started creating HTTP2. This is another super geek question. Who knows what HTTP2 is? Super geeks, come on. Okay, HTTP2 is quantum computing. And this is actually what I was going to talk to you about. The quantum computing model is very complicated, but I'm going to give you guys a 30,000 foot view, okay? When I send you a message, if I send you an email message, it's one signal. Is that right? And that one signal could be corrupted, it could be changed, and then you get the email and it says something totally different. It might come by later, but you would never know if it's been corrupted. Here's how quantum computing works. Quantum computing sends a series of randomly encrypted messages. So let's just say 8. Let's say they're sending 8. So now instead of me sending him one email, I'm sending him 8 emails at the exact same time. And they're all randomly encrypted individually. If one of those emails is a nanosecond late or comes back different, you know that your system has been compromised. That's quantum computing. It's coming. Google has already announced that in 2017 they're going to start supporting it. It could be December 2017, but they're going to start supporting it. The NSA is already working with quantum computers, and if you want to also work with quantum computers, then you need to find a hosting provider that can support HTTP2. Did everybody get that? That is the future. HTTPS is baseline. If you have HTTP, you at the very minimum need to upgrade to HTTPS yesterday because you're being penalized if you have it. Which means if your competitor has HTTPS and you're equal, you're not equal with your competitor anymore. He has a leg above you. Any questions about this topic?
When are they going to start penalizing you for being HTTPS?
You know, I don't know. They haven't started supporting HTTP2 yet. We can't even transfer our website to HTTP2 even though we've tried because there's no hosting providers out there for it. If you have a private server, then you can download the software and you can get it done like that. But I use Bluehost. So Bluehost doesn't have the HTTP2 capability. It's not supposed to be till February. Good question. What was your question again? I'm sorry. I was supposed to repeat the questions and I didn't.
When will we be penalized for being
HTTPS people? Okay, sorry about that. He wants me to mention the questions. Schema. This is another thing. You'll notice you can't even read this text. I did that on purpose. There's so many schemas. There's so many. Schema is something that Google integrates with. Does anyone in here know what a schema is? Besides you. No? A schema is a language that talks directly to Google's bots. Google uses robots called crons, K-R-O-N-S. Those crons crawl your website and they determine what keywords you're relevant for, what pages you're ranked for. And when those crons are reading your website, if you've written custom coding in there and maybe you put a dash instead of a semicolon, well, Google might not read that, but they read schema. And you can tell them where you are, you can tell them what awards you've won, you can tell them what day you're going on a trip. You can put all different kinds of schemas. You need to write this down. This is super important. Schema.org. You all need to go to schema.org. These are copy and paste, folks. This is no coding involved. Well, I take that back. You do have to code, but it's copy the code, paste the code, save. That's the extent of your coding, okay? So it's copy paste. If you can do that, you can do this. Yes, ma'am. Can I say the website address again? Schema, schema.org. Schema.org. It is not a very user-friendly website. It's straight out of 1970. You'll see when you're like 1970 website. Well, you'll see when you get on there. They haven't changed it. But needless to say, there's a whole wheel of stuff that you can use. You should have a schema on every single page of your website. It is easy to do, folks. You put it in your footer. Mark up your business name, mark up your address, put it in your footer. Your footer is probably on every page of your website except for maybe a shopping cart page or a landing page. So put it in your footer and you can get it on every page.
Should you have a different schema for each page? Is that
No.
more beneficial?
Just the ones that are relevant. And so for our footer, for example, if you go to our website, we recently changed our website because we updated the SSL certificate. And when we changed our URL, there were some issues. We won't go into that right now. I'm sorry. I got off track. What was your question?
Do you need to change the schema for each
No.
code for each page?
No, you don't. No.
Same schema for every page?
That's right. Just leave. Yeah. You can have different schemas on different pages, but you don't have to. Yeah. Okay. Also, Google Tag Manager. Is anyone in here integrating with Google Tag Manager yet? Really? Okay. Last year at this time, I almost put this in here last year. When I gave this presentation last year, it was slightly different. Google announced November of last year, like 3 days before my presentation, that they're going to start integrating with Tag Manager. Let me explain what Google Tag Manager is so that you guys can understand how this works on your website and how this makes your lives simpler. Google Tag Manager was created for massive websites. Let's call it Amazon. And for Amazon, let's say that you work for JCPenney and someone buys some red JCPenney strappy shoes on Amazon, okay? Well, if they do that, you're going to want to have an analytics code on there. Amazon's going to want to have an analytics code on there. The women's department might have an analytics code on there. The shoe department might have an analytics code on there. You could have 20 or 30 different tags and codes just on that one page for major sites when there's multiple players, not brick and mortar. Google decided, you know what, we want to release one of these for local sites. Because what it does is instead of putting 30 different codes on your website, you put one. You put the Google Tag Manager code on your website. And then no one has to go into the back of your website to upload a code. No one has to screw with your website. You do it through Google Tag Manager. Does that make sense?
Is that including Google AdWords, analytics? It
Covers any code, remarketing, call tracking codes, analytics. And the good thing is that the Tag Manager is asynchronous. So a synchronous code slows down your website. It means it has to load in sync, synchronous. An asynchronous code does not have to load with your website. It can load after your website loads. Google Tag Manager is an asynchronous code, which means it's not going to slow down your website performance. So instead of having 30 tags on your website, even though they may be asynchronous, there's going to be some sort of load nanosecond delay. This will not delay anything. Does that make sense? Please ask questions here. This is a super important part of the presentation. Yes, ma'am.
So are you using this instead of something else, or?
Okay, so this is our website right here, and I'm going to explain how I did this to answer that question. She asked, can you say the question again so I can repeat it?
Are you using Google Tag Manager instead of additional code?
Is she using Google Tag Manager instead of additional code? So this right here, this little blue icon says Google Tag Manager. That is the only tag manager, only tag that we have on our website. This is my website right here. Those two green icons that you see up there are analytics and remarketing. Those tags are not on my website. They are in Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager is allowing them to function on my website. What this means is, it is a dashboard. And so instead of you having to give people access to the back end of your website, you just say, just go into Google and just put the code in there. It's so easy. It's so easy. Google Tag Manager is the way to go to integrate with Google.
And if you do it separately, is that synchronizing with your website, or?
If you do what separately?
If you add those instead of using the Google Tag Manager, you're not getting the asynchronization that you would using Google Tag Manager.
Oh, you could still be, so if you use Google Tag Manager, are you getting the asynchronous code versus if you use other codes, are they not asynchronous? Some codes, like for example, if you use CallRail is a call tracking software that we use. CallRail is a synchronous code, and so it's going to slow down your website, whereas analytics is asynchronous, remarketing is asynchronous. Does that give you an example? Okay. Any other questions? Have I bored anyone in here yet? This is super geeky stuff. Okay, this is where I need to do my live demo. This was going to be a little bit more seamless, but let me plug this in. I was going to put in a whole bunch of slides about Google Search Console because you need to integrate with Google Search Console as well. But yeah, we had some technical difficulties, as you guys know. So Google Search Console is formerly Google Webmaster Tools. Does anyone integrate with Google Webmaster Tools? Show of hands. Who integrates with Google Web? Oh, that's excellent, excellent. So you already have Google Search Console now. Google Search Console is going through some changes, and they're also integrating with analytics. But having Google Search Console really gives you a great view of your campaign. Let me pull this up and I will show you. Yes, this is Google Search Console. Google Search Console has a lot of different facets, but what it does is it tells you how to make your site work with Google better, how to make your site sell better. You can see here, this is the dashboard. This is just the dashboard. We integrated with this customer about 2 months ago. They're going through a website change. And so another reason I brought this up is because they haven't fixed any of their errors. Usually you get in here and you see, look at this right here, 408 404 pages. That's 408 error pages, right? That's a ton, but he's going through a website change, so they're just not fixing it right now. Regardless, you can see all of the kind of errors that this will show you. Let me show you another screenshot. This is also, see the structured data here? That's schema. A lot of this is schema implementation. And you can see the structured data that's down here. It's marked up, breadcrumbs and product and all this kind of stuff right here. So you can see all of the different schemas that he's got in place here. Schema.org, schema.org, schema.org. That is part of the, you'll see on the left-hand side, part of the search appearance. Next, part of Search Console. This is clutch right here. In the past, if someone was searching for you on Google Analytics or someone was searching for you organically, how did you know what keyword they were using? It's a rhetorical question. You didn't. Google took that information away from us about 5 years ago. They gave it back in Search Console. So now with AdWords and with Search Console, you can have a 360, maybe 359-degree view of what you're getting because they still have not set words in here. There are still a lot of words that are not set. But here's a way that you can use this. This person is a Mercedes dealership. He wants us to push, he wants us to push used Mercedes. He's getting tons of new Mercedes. Texas Auto Direct, that's his competitor. That's not even him. Texas Cars Direct, Texas Direct, that could be him. Texas competitor, that's him. Not sure, not sure. Number 8 is the first word. Can you guys see this over here? I'm in your way. Number 8 is the first word here that is anything relevant for a Mercedes that's not just his brand name. This guy has incredible branding, by the way. If you guys want to know what it looks like, when you go back and you look at your own Search Console, you're not going to see your name up there very much. You're going to be like, man, Texas Cars Direct took 7 of the 8 top spots. Yeah, but he spends $2.5 million a year on branding. Radio, TV, people know who Texas Cars Direct is. Hence the reason, look at the impression volume there. I mean, this is 90 days of impression, tens of thousands of people looking for him because he's well branded, okay? You guys are likely not going to see the same thing. In AdWords, however, his top keyword is used Mercedes. So where is he getting the used Mercedes traffic from? Is he getting it from the organic searches or is he getting it from AdWords? Clearly he's getting that part from AdWords, and this part here is more of a direct search. Maybe people looked for him on Yelp, maybe they went to his AdWords ad and saw some stuff and then went and researched him. But regardless, Search Console will give you a much better view of your website performance. Any questions on this little report here?
So where would you see what kind of results?
That would be in AdWords, yes. In the AdWords is the paid search.
So this is only natural.
This is only organic. And I'm not sure if this includes maps before someone always asks me that.
Also different, how is analytics covering the other degrees of that?
Analytics shows not set. Although Analytics is now integrated with Search Console, that just happened last week. And I don't know what sort of changes. Google announced today that they're making changes to the Search Console and Analytics, so I don't know.
So does that mean that they're going to kind of veer more towards use Search Console to see your analytics, or view analytics to see more of your Search Console?
I think they're going to start charging for Search Console. That's what I think. And so I think they want to get everybody on Search Console so they can start charging for it. If you don't have Google stock, you should get some. Here's a quick little tip. I have Google stock. So Google's most searched for feature is Google Maps. Did you guys know that? Their most clicked on feature is Google Maps. But they haven't put any ads on Google Maps. They put one ad. Now they're going to start heavily implementing ads in Google Maps. Ads is where they make 90% of their money. And since that's their most clicked on feature, you can see what that's going to do to their revenue. If you don't have Google stock, it might be a good time to go buy some. Okay, so you can also look at your indexed pages. Again, he has a website designer who's changing stuff, so the index pages constantly goes down. But you can see tons of great information here. Last thing, errors. You don't even know about your website errors. You don't know about all these 404-page errors and crawl errors. But Google Search Console will show you. Look at all these errors right here. It tells you the page, it tells you the code, it tells you the date it found them. And so integrating with Search Console allows you to see these errors and fix them. Your competitor, who's not integrated with Search Console, he may not fix these errors. And that puts you ranked above him, if you're equal, all things being equal. Make sense to everybody? How to use Google Search Console? Yes, sir?
What do you mean when you say an error?
An error. Okay. Let me go to an error page. This is my website, High5 SEO Agency -error. That's nothing should come up. I haven't done this, so let's find out. Okay, there we go. This is an error page. This is not what the person was looking for. I'm not sure if you could read this, but this is clearly just a 404 error page.
Right, so when your website is functioning properly, people are looking at pages.
Mhm.
If they type, if a link goes from one thing to another, and all of that is functioning, they should never see this.
That's correct. The question is about links and error pages. And you're right, if the link is functioning properly, then you shouldn't see any 404 error pages. But when you make the transition from HTTP to HTTPS, you will have broken links. We did it. We're internet marketers. We understand broken links. We had 16 broken links pop up overnight. Couldn't believe we had pictures missing from our website just from changing from HTTP to HTTPS. This is what caught them. Search Console caught them because we didn't even see them. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the question was, will you be ahead of your competitors if you don't have the errors?
Yeah, you say you will be. How is that in Google's eyes or just in Google?
Well, what we're talking about is getting ranked on Google. Okay. That's what this section of how to make your website sell better is talking about, how to get ranked on Google.
And that's if everything's equal.
That's all things being equal, right? Like if you're just bombing and all of a sudden you fix these errors, you're not, you just kind of raise yourself up. You're not going to be above them. Does that help? So that was data-driven marketing. Now let's talk about mobile marketing. This was a punch in the face. Google didn't even announce this. They came out and all of a sudden, just one day, they said, hey, by the way, starting today, your mobile website is what we're going to rank. Your desktop site is old hat. So all you guys who are looking at your desktop site and going, oh, I want this picture right here. Yes, oh, that's perfect. Oh, and the text, it doesn't matter anymore. Google is now ranking that as a secondary or even a tertiary site behind your mobile and your tablet site. You need to start with your mobile site. Make sure your mobile site is conversion friendly first, and then go to the desktop site. And I mean, that was a huge, you can imagine, there are people who don't even have mobile sites. At this point, if you don't have a mobile site, you are officially behind the curve. Any questions about that? Sorry? We have a WordPress mobile responsive site that uses HTML5, yes. Did that answer your question? The question was, do I use HTML5 for the video? We also want to talk about engaging visitors on a mobile site. Now you can see the site behind me. One of them you have to pinch zoom and you can't read anything. We've all been there. You go to a site, you got to pinch zoom, you're like, man, come on. And then there's the mobile version. I mean, do I even have to explain this at this point? Everyone in here should be savvy enough to understand how a mobile site would fare better versus a site you have to pinch zoom on with a smartphone. Is that right? Does everyone grasp that concept? Any questions up to this point? I've opened up the fire hose and sprayed all of you. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think is the best, like you've built all your websites on desktop now, and it's mobile friendly, it's mobile friendly, but you're right, where you have your homepage are button links, menu links, where maybe if you make it from a desktop to a mobile site, you have like the little 3-line menu bar.
The sandwich menu. It's called a sandwich menu.
Right. So what do you suggest as far as transforming your already built desktop websites to be completely mobile-like like that, where you're...
Are they mobile responsive? Is that
Yes,
true?
they're mobile
Okay.
responsive, but what you just showed, that picture, that's a site built for a...
That picture? I love that picture. I'm a Rangers fan, so I like that picture. It's good. I'd rather be punched in May than swept in October, right? Yeah.
So this one on the right is built for a mobile. That is not a responsive
That's right.
desktop site. So what do you suggest? I mean, is a responsive desktop site good enough for Google as a mobile site, or should we even consider reformatting the entire thing? Do you see what I mean?
Yes. Okay. So the question was, you have your desktop sites. What should you do? A mobile responsive desktop site. What should you do to emphasize the mobile aspect of your desktop sites? Okay. So just so you know, this is a WordPress mobile responsive site right here. Just so you know, and you can buy different templates that look different. When you look at a template now, when in the past you'd look at a template and you look at the sliders and everything on desktop. When you look at a template now, you need to find one that's. But it doesn't have to look like this. You could have all different kinds of gears. gears, all different kinds of categories. You could have pictures and contact us and call us and find us. I put this here for simplicity so that everyone in here could see and make sure we're on the same page. With WordPress, you might want to look, if it's not mobile friendly, which it sounds like it is, you might want to look at a new template.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's all about the template, really.
friendly, but, you know, having buttons like that versus a menu, the sandwich menu and stuff like that. I didn't know.
Sandwich menus are not, not really mobile friendly at all. Yeah. Did that answer your question? I feel as if I didn't.
Fine, you're good.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So you can convert easily from a good desktop site to making it mobile friendly.
So the question was, can you convert easily from a desktop site to make it mobile friendly? If you have a mobile responsive site, then it's already mobile friendly. Do you have a smartphone?
Yes.
Show me your site after. Okay? Yes, sir.
Do you use Google PageRank? I'm not sure if that's the correct term for that program, but you can take any website address for that page, put it in, and it gives you a rank for the mobile, and with all the errors
Mm-hmm.
and how to fix them, including picture reduction and
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. And then same thing for desktop, it gives you a rank for both, and then overall rank.
So the question was, do I use PageSpeed Insights? This is a Google developer's tool. It's called PageSpeed Insights. If you're not using PageSpeed Insights, you should be using PageSpeed Insights. Write that down, PageSpeed Insights. You can go to Google and you can Google PageSpeed Insights. And what will happen is you'll get a site that'll pop up with a place for your address. You copy and paste your website address in there, and it will literally tell you, here's which picture is too big. You need to reduce it by 60%. This page right here is too slow. You need to make this page faster. And it will give you, very specific items that you can go in and either send to a web developer and say, hey, fix this for a couple $100, or you can fix it yourself. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yeah,
Good.
you do use that.
Oh, every website I'm on. PageSpeed Insights. It's by Google developers. Right. It is so helpful. It is so incredibly helpful. Now, when you're talking about a website, it has to be fast. The biggest ranking factor for a mobile website is speed. The number one ranking factor for a mobile website is speed. That means if your mobile website is slow, you might as well not have one. Google gauges speed in terms of nanoseconds. Did you guys hear that? Google doesn't gauge speed. Some people come to me and they'll say, well, my site loaded in 7 seconds. That's fast, right? Well, the difference in 7 seconds and 6.98 seconds is a big deal for Google, actually. The 0.2 nanoseconds is a big deal, okay? Any questions about any of that stuff? Muy bien. Let's talk about the 5 steps of the sale and your website. And we started a little late, so I want to make sure I'm on time. Yeah, we're okay. We're on time. You really need to simplify the sales process when you're talking about selling on your website. You do not need to put 8 different categories of everything that you do on the front page or your landing page. Does anyone know what the job of the homepage is? Can anyone tell me, by show of hands, what's the job of the homepage? Yes, sir. Yeah, that's actually the best answer I've ever heard. The job of the homepage is to get you off of the homepage. That's the job. Your job is not to stay there, because you're not going to buy anything. It's to get you off the homepage. If you give them too many options, it's almost analysis by paralysis, we have found. I keep doing that. It's almost analysis by paralysis. You only need 3 to 5 concepts at the most. I love this flow chart here. This is so great. It really, this flow chart speaks to how people search websites sometimes. They may say, you know what, I want a dive vacation, but yet they go down this path here, and then they go here and here and dive and then here, but they still end up at the same page. That's too many options. Just give the people 3 options, good, better, best. 5 options, even that is a little much. And let them browse your site from those concepts. Now, the first thing that you need to do whenever the people get to your site is a greeting. Imagine someone comes into your business, sir. Divers Depot, Nacogdoches. Okay, yeah, all right. Stephen F. Austin, very good. So imagine if someone comes into Divers Depot. Are you instantly going to say, hey man, $129 BCDs. Come on in the back. I got you hooked up. Come on. No, you're going to shake his hand first. Hey, how you doing? My name is EK. I'm the owner here, and just let me know if I can help you out with anything.
Actually, I say, you look like a diver. Are you a diver?
Me?
No, that's what
Oh, that's what you say. I thought you were asking the question. So very good. You're engaging with the customer, but it's a smile, it's a hand. That's what you want to do on your website too, but you can't reach out and touch them, and you can't say anything to them. So in your greeting, you want to make sure that you smile and you show them a little bit, just a little bit about who you are. You really don't want to go into heavy concepts in your greeting. The early learning stage. This is where the person is learning about your project. Again, let's use the example of someone walking into your store. You don't want to say, you know what, you look like a diver. I got some BCDs back here, $129.99. These BCDs are the best BCDs ever. They're NASA tested. I tell you, the Navy SEAL uses these. Navy SEALs use these things. That's hard sell. You're still in the greeting here. Like this guy he doesn't even know anything. So think about that. Think about you engaging with someone. This is early learning. Just tell them the bare minimum. This rapport and investigation is where the person may choose to walk away, and that's okay. Did you know that more than 50% of the people are going to bounce from your website? Did you know that? Anyone in here know what the average bounce rate is nationally across all industries? Average. 60%. Who said that? You are a fellow geek. We'll have to talk later. You know too much to not be a geek. So 60% is the average bounce rate. That means 4 out of 10 people are going to leave your site. Do you get that? So it's okay if it's not a good fit. It's perfectly okay if they decide to walk away here. But in the rapport, think about the concept we were just talking about with someone in front of you. The reason I'm relating this is because people have a hard time considering the cloud and how that works. But if you think about just a personal interaction, how you'd want it to be. This is probably the second page. They've clicked from your website. They found the 3 to 5 services they want. We want to go diving with platypuses in Australia. All right, cool, we can do that. So now they're on the platypus page and you want to bond. Here's a cute little fuzzy platypus, and we'll even give you a cute little fuzzy platypus when you leave. This is building rapport. Part of building rapport and investigation is the 3 C's. You like that one? You laughed at that one. I like that too. That's funny. Can they tell what you do? This needs to be above the fold. You have a smartphone in your hand. The fold is the bottom of the phone. If you have to scroll, you're below the fold. Does everyone understand that concept? Because that matters for the 3 C's. They need to be able to tell what you do above the fold. I see so many dive shops will have a picture of, it's a drone or something, aerial view of the boat and what are you doing? Are you great white shark diving? Are you snorkeling? Are you spearfishing? What are you doing? That doesn't tell people what you do. It just shows people a beautiful picture. They need to be able to tell what it is that you do. Also, do you have a call to action? So many times, business owners have a hard time steering people for what they want. Do you want them to book now? Do you want them to learn more? Do you want them to sign up for more information? What it is, what it is, man. What is it that you want them to do? That's your call to action, and you need to have it above the fold. On every page. Let's keep talking about the 3 C's. Can they contact you? I can't tell you how many times I see people's phone numbers on their mobile site at the bottom of the mobile page. Really? Because on almost every mobile website, you can put click to call. That's pretty simple. That's right above the fold. So make sure that people can contact you, whether this is a form submission. If you have a booking engine, is anyone in here a resort? Anyone in here operate a resort? So you probably have a booking engine. If you have a booking engine, that is a form of contact. Have that above your fold, okay? If that's what you want them to do is book now. Any questions about the 3 C's? Yes?
Is there any place for avatars or not?
Avatars being, in a website, an avatar is typically, when you save a favorite, it'll be that really little icon that's right up at the top. That's typically what they call an avatar. Are you talking about icons?
Yeah, I'm talking about the animated cartoon avatars. You know, I've been to a couple of different places not diving.
Mm-hmm.
Use the
talking avatars.
Oh.
I just wondered what your feelings are on that.
Talking avatars, that is an interesting discussion. I work with a lot of businesses, and the automobile dealers that I work with love the talking avatars. My problem with the talking avatar is, if I'm sitting in my cubicle, which I don't because I work at home, all of my employees are virtual, but if I did have a cubicle and I'm looking at some stuff I'm not supposed to see, and all of a sudden this woman comes on that says, "Hey mate, let's come diving with platypuses," and your buddy looks over and is like, "What are you doing there, EK?" Yeah, that's the only issue, volume. Okay? So can they tell what you do? Do you have a call to action? Can they contact you? Just a quick review. And again, the job of the homepage, get them off of the homepage. Your homepage is great. Everyone puts so much work into their homepage. It's really a diversionary tactic. Really, you're trying to give them the basic information that they can get, just a teaser, so that they will go to another page where you can give them all of the information. And again, that's what the snake says here. It helps if you can land them to the proper page. If you look at Google Analytics, and I do, then you will notice that approximately 30% of people leave every time they have to go to another page. So if you land them to the proper page, you just save 30% of your traffic. That's easy. What a concept. Your bounce rate's already 6 out of 10. So saving 30% of your traffic is a big deal, right? Number 3, let me check my time again. We're still a little bit behind. This is where you want to present a solution to your problem. They are definitely on another page. They might even be on a 3rd page by now. But this is for sure where you want to present the solution. Listen, sir, are you a diver? You didn't tell them all about BCD. Well, yes, I am. I'm looking for great white shark diving. Oh, that's great. We have some awesome, amazing cages with cylinders that are hollow, and Megamouth couldn't bite through these, whatever. That's where you give this stuff. The person knows their needs. The person knows what problem they need to solve. And now that you've given them the right information and they can go to the page that they want, that's when you give them the solution. And again, if you have to explain it to them more than once, remember that horse diagram we drew? If you have to explain it to them more than once, it's too complicated, guys. Keep it simple. There are places where you're going to want to put the specs, but you're not going to want to put the specs right at the very top where they have to read through the specs to get to your call to action, blah, 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 blah. Everybody understand this concept? Simplify. Because remember, 30% of people are leaving if they have to go to another page. So if it's too complicated and they have to go to another page, you just lost 30% of your traffic because you made it too complicated. Demonstration. This is how you show them how your shiny product works. This is how you show them the video of the 20-foot great white shark trying to get in that cage and the divers frantically panicking trying to stay in the cage. This is where you show them that video. Show them how the shiny object works. How is it going to fit their solution? This is also a 3rd page. This is not on the 2nd page that they've clicked to. This is on a 3rd page that they've clicked to. There's a slide in here I'll get to in a second, but a shallow website will rank higher than a deep website, and that's according to Google. So, demonstration, how your shiny product works. This is all coming in steps, guys. You're not giving them demonstration on your home page. You're not even giving them demonstration on your 2nd page. Make them click through. A sale happens when the right solution reaches the right person at the right time. And if you've done all of these things that we've talked about, the bonding and rapport and the greeting and the presentation, then this should be a no-brainer. You've already lost the traffic that's going to leave. You've already lost the bounce traffic. This is where you need to ask for their business, whatever you want from them. Come dive with us. Sign up for our newsletter. Learn more. But this is where you need to close. If you don't ask for the sale, you can't expect them to buy from you. Any questions on that? Yes?
Maintain a sidebar with all that information on all your pages.
See, and that's kind of getting into too deep, too quick, right? So it's almost, you don't want to make them love your product. You want them to fall in love with it. On a website, when they have a pull, they keep going. If you're just complicating it and just throwing up all the data and specifications on one page, I have found that those pages don't perform as well. That has just been my experience.
Specifically talking about like newsletters or book now buttons. You know, I'm giving them
Okay.
an option to dig deeper, but maybe they are like, okay, well, step 2, I'm sold. How do I book?
Well, that would be the call to action now, or the call to action button, book now.
Right, so
Yeah.
having a call to action button or the sign up for the newsletter button on the sidebar for every page.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're
Yes.
if you're obviously giving them that option at whatever level they're ready to do it, do you have to come to number 5 to close it?
Okay, so I understand your question. I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about putting all the product-specific data on the sidebar. Yes, you should absolutely have conversion elements in your sidebar. Call to action, your form submissions. If you have a form submission on your site, that needs to go in your sidebar and just stay there.
So you don't have to get down to number 5.
Exactly. So if at any time, if they go, you know what, I want to go dive with these sharks. That looks scary. That's in for me. Yeah, they can just book now and whatever.
You don't have to wait to dig deeper to get to that.
That is correct. Yes.
Would you consider a calendar also on that?
A calendar would be a separate page. I would do a separate page for a calendar, and I would do that for schema purposes because you can mark up the calendar. Yes, sir.
So, point 3, 4, 5, demonstration, presentation, flows. Are you saying they're running down, they're all on separate pages? We're getting them to click through to each? Or are we doing maybe the presentation above the fold, and then as they scroll down, then they can see the demonstration above the fold?
Good question.
Then at the bottom, we have our buy now, book now, call now.
Well, not at the bottom. At the top, buy now, book now, call now. It has to be above the fold.
You could repeat that then, couldn't you? Up in the presentation, have those.
Yes.
Go down into the
Oh, yes.
presentation,
Yes, you can.
Link to a YouTube video or something.
Yes.
And then at the bottom, you can remind them so they don't have to scroll all the way back to the top.
That is correct. So, yes, you can have the conversion elements at the top and the bottom. And what I'm trying to impress upon here is you want to draw them into your website. Just like your store, right? You don't want them standing at the door. You want them coming into your store. No, come on in. Look, let me show you the GoPros. They're over here. Come on. You want to bring them into the store. If you do it all on the front page,
So in that
it's
case,
not really
the
getting engagement.
presentation page, let's say you're promoting a course, then you can take them to another page where it goes further in depth and demonstrations.
Yes.
Testimonials from previous students.
And if they don't want to go to that page, they can buy from the first page. Now you got it. Okay, so we are running a little short on time, so I'm going to get to my favorite part here. I only have, actually I think I'm at time right now, but I'm going to go 5 more minutes because we had a 5-minute delay. So anyone who goes to this site right now, we will know about it because that low volume thing, you should go to this site. This site is crazy dumb. Lingscars.com, L-I-N-G-S cars.com. I have no idea how this guy stayed in business. Look at, this is an actual website. I didn't make this up. It's like he just vomited conversion elements. Every single conversion element he can just on the page, right? That's his desktop. Look at his mobile site. There are countries where his mobile site would be banned because it's flashing like epileptic seizure kind of stuff. This is, look at that guy. He's on a ballistic missile on a Chinese military vehicle and he's advertising in the UK. Whatever, maybe this works for him, but it is definitely not for me. If you guys want to check out how not to do it, this is my example, lingscars.com, okay? So when you're getting started with website structure, I'm going to go through these really fast because I want to get to the other stuff. You definitely want to use WordPress. We talked about sales page structure. The only thing we didn't talk about was a final sales page. Remove all the navigation from it. Make them hit the back button or the close button to get off that thing. So that, sir, that final page you were talking about, you can have a page, 3 or 4 pages deep, where the buy now page that doesn't have the services, about us, contact us. It's buy now or get off. Okay. This is what Google went on record as saying last year. A shallow website will outperform a deep website. If you have to get 7 clicks to get down to wherever they want, it's not very efficient. 3 to 4 clicks at the most to be able to access every single page of your site. If you set it up right, that's not a problem. Every single page of your site. Maybe like...
You do this 5 things, say you offer 7 services.
Mm-hmm.
And you start with your presentation page, and then you work down, that's 5 pages for that one service.
We will definitely, you and I are going to have a consultation after anyway, so we will definitely chat about that afterwards. Okay. So a shallow website, okay? Keep that in mind, shallow website. And speed. Get your sliders off, guys. Speed is your biggest ranking factor. It's your single biggest ranking factor. And for you to have 5 HD sliders means that 5 HD pictures have to load before your front page loads. Get them off. Put a static image up there so it loads fast so your website can perform better. Images. Any questions on this? Image on the left, probably not what you want to use on your site. Image on the right, much more user-friendly. Next, image on the left, depending on what state you live in, probably still not the best. Image on the right is perfect. She's smiling, she's in a dive shop. She almost looked like a spokesmodel. Perfect. I am going to breeze through fonts and colors because I want to get to this before we end, okay? Quick little story. Colors affect the subconscious. My little dog here, we did a science project where I would screw in different color light bulbs, and then we ran this laser light right here actually. We ran the laser light all over and saw what the dog did. When the dog ran in the room with the red lights, he got super aggressive and started biting everything he could. Carpet, whether or not he could catch the light. He laid down on the ground and just started biting and growling. Crazy. With a blue light, he laid down and he just laid down. He just, not went to sleep, but he just kind of laid down. Green light, same thing. So we did the test again and again to make sure. Sure enough, red light, dog went crazy. Yellow light, still kind of the same thing. Green and blue, couldn't care less. So colors do affect the subconscious. Take a picture of this because I'm not going to take a huge time to explain it because we're so far behind. Sorry guys, it's the technical stuff. This is for the American palate. It doesn't work in South Africa. It might not be the same in different cultures like Asia, but this was put together from our studies in the United States for the United States market. Red and orange are colors that make people act. The bottom line is, red and orange make people make impulse buys. If you use black, it should probably, my experience, for a luxury item, like that Mercedes dealership. We did an alpha beta test, and the black website performed better on the Mercedes dealership, but on almost every other website, the white website outperforms the black one. You can also see navy blue and teal. I mean, those are really your colors in the dive industry. Navy blue and teal is kind of what everybody goes to. It's almost watercolor. Use those in your pictures, not in your call to action, not in anything you're trying to drive people to do. Because like I just talked about my dog, it's going to make them not take action, okay? It's really relaxing. Fonts, this is it right here. This is the last thing if you guys are getting antsy about leaving. On a computer screen, you need to use a different font than you do on paper. On paper, you need to use what's called a sans, I'm sorry. On paper, you use a serif font. Use a font with feet. And this is about comprehension. This isn't about reading. Everyone can read it. It's computer. Computer is the same in serif or non-sans serif. But comprehending massive amounts of text. Studies show on a computer screen, people comprehend it better when there's no feet. And on paper, people comprehend it better when there are feet. Roboto is the one that you should really lean on. It's Google's font, and it's on every browser. It's a really quick font to load. They picked a font that was stripped down so it loads easy, and it's comprehensible. Any questions about the fonts? Garamond. I use Garamond for titles on my website. Hey guys, we've done a ton of alpha beta testing, and when we use serif fonts in our titles, people stay on our site longer, like 30 seconds longer. So we use serif fonts in the titles and sans serif font on everything else. That's just us. That's been our testing. Any questions about the fonts? Yes. So this fonts down here have feet on them. Can you see that foot and see that foot? That is a serif, and that's for print. And then for computer screens, no feet down here. No feet down here at all. Matter of fact, I probably should have put a serif on the print. Any questions? Any other questions about the fonts? Sorry? Okay, sizes. For the older demographic, you need size 15 to 16 font. Size 14 to be the smallest font you would ever use. Ever, size 14. But if you have an older demographic, most of you guys want people with money, right? Those people are probably older, so you're going to want to use a bigger font, 15 to 16. For titles, we use between 18 to 24.
And is that on all kinds of different newsletters or anything like that? Or is
Yes.
that just for websites?
That's on everything. Size 16 is really what we lean on, 15 and 16, because again, the people who buy my stuff are older too. I don't see anybody in this room under the age of 20. So everyone in here needs bigger font, including myself. I had questions when I saw this picture. I don't even know what in the hell that is. So follow me on LinkedIn for a chance to win a consultation. I really appreciate you guys being patient with the technical issues. I appreciate you guys coming. I'll hang out for a little bit if you need anything else. Thank you very much, guys.